It started with a message. Just one. A stupid little message in his messenger notifications. Matt had left his phone face up while he showered. I wasn't snooping, I was checking the weather. But the preview popped up, bold and glowing. Mallory, I miss last night already. My heart skipped. I stared at the screen, willing the message to vanish. When he came out of the bathroom, towel slung low on his hips, I tried to play it cool. Hey, I said, voice even. You got a message. From someone named Mallory. She, misses last night. He blinked, then let out the fakest laugh I've ever heard. Oh, God. That? No. She's a student, must have texted the wrong person. I bet she meant it for her boyfriend. I've told her before, her contact list is a mess. He said it so smoothly, with that practice charm he uses on faculty boards and new interns. For a second, I almost believed him. My name is Grace Hayward. I'm 41. I've been married to this man for nearly 18 years. I know his tells, how his nostrils twitch when he's nervous, how he reaches for a drink when he's lying. That night, he drank 2 glasses of wine without even tasting them. Still, I didn't want to believe it. It's easier to bury suspicion than to dig up betrayal. I told myself it was a mistake. That he was right. Maybe she was just a flirty student with no filter. But then things started happening. Small things. Slippery things. He changed his phone password. Claimed it was a university security update. He started wearing cologne again. The expensive one I bought him 5 Christmases ago, the one he said made him feel too overdressed before. He suddenly had evening meetings that never showed up on the shared calendar. And worst of all, he stopped talking to me. Not in a dramatic, silent treatment way, but in that slow, corrosive way where conversations become logistics. Who's picking up milk? When's the tax meeting? Can I get a ride Tuesday? No more late-night laughing. No more stupid debates about movie endings. One Friday afternoon, I met my best friend Nina for coffee at our usual spot. She could tell something was off before I even sat down. You look like hell, she said, half laughing. Thanks. You're glowing as always. She smirked. Botox and spite. Now spill. I hesitated, then told her about the message. About Mallory. About the cologne. The passwords. The gut feeling I couldn't shake. When I finished, she just stared at me, dead serious. Grace, are you honestly still unsure? I blinked. What do you mean? She leaned in. You're not stupid. You know what this is. He's cheating on you. I opened my mouth to argue, to say it wasn't proven, that maybe it really was innocent. That he said. Nina cut me off. Don't be a dumbass. You think a 22-year-old sends kissy texts to her professor by accident? Come on. You've been gaslit so hard you're starting to carry the lighter fluid yourself. I sat back in my chair, cold. Grace, she said gently, you need to find out the truth. Like, really find out. That night, I couldn't sleep. Nina's voice played on loop in my head. You're not stupid. You're not stupid. So I did what I hadn't let myself do in weeks. I started watching. I noticed how Matt's office door was suddenly locked during his at-home, grading sessions. How he kept his phone screen tilted away. How he flinched when I walked in unannounced. And I started collecting. Screenshots. Calendar anomalies. His sudden, out-of-town conference next month that didn't show up on the university site. I even checked his Uber receipts, one of which was for a trip to a luxury condo downtown. A building I'd never been to. A neighborhood he had no business in. I don't know what I expected to find. I think part of me still hoped I was wrong. That I'd find some dumb misunderstanding and we'd laugh about it someday. That I'd feel embarrassed but relieved. But deep down, a different part of me was waking up. The part that had been ignored. Talked over. Treated like background music while Matt played out his midlife ego trip. That part of me wasn't looking for confirmation anymore. She was preparing for war. Mallory's name appeared again. Not on his phone this time, but on our home printer. I was refilling paper and found the most recent print job still sitting in the tray, a list of digital presentation topics for his Ethics in Media class. At the bottom of the page, Group 3, Mallory Jensen. I took a photo. That evening, while Matt reheated lasagna, I asked, "How's your ethics group project going?" He didn't look up. "Which one?" "The one with Mallory Jensen." He paused, then shrugged. "She dropped the course. Transferred sections. Don't know why. Thought she was your star student." He gave a tight smile. "Not everyone handles pressure well." I cleared the dishes without speaking. Later that night, while he was in the shower, I went into his office. The computer was asleep but not locked. I opened the Downloads folder. 4 files labeled Mallory sat in a neat row. One was a voice message. I clicked it. "Hey. I know you said to keep it quiet for now, but I really wish I could just tell people. It's hard to pretend like you're not the best part of my week. And last night. I've never felt that way before. Please don't ignore me, okay?" I copied the file onto a flash drive. Next morning, Matt found his briefcase zipper jammed. I watched him struggle with it, muttering under his breath, tie half knotted. "You're going to be late," I said, sipping my tea. He gave me a look. "You're unusually cheerful today." I slept well. He left 10 minutes later without his tie finished. I called Nina from my car in the grocery store parking lot. "You were right." "No kidding. What happened?" "Audio message." "I have it. What's your next move?" I looked out the windshield at an old man struggling with a shopping cart. "Nothing. Yet." The next suspicious charge was for a hotel 2 towns over. One night, $284. Matt said he was attending a symposium. The receipt was folded in his coat pocket when he got home. I checked his university's official calendar. No symposium. The same night, he forgot to delete a rideshare notification from his email. Drop-off address, same hotel. I sent it to a new folder on my desktop, read. Inside, emails, calendar shots, receipts, the voice message. The folder grew every day. 2 weeks later, Nina invited me to her cousin's art show. I accepted. We dressed up. She wore red lipstick. I wore heels I hadn't touched in years. While we were sipping wine, I caught Matt's name from behind me. I turned. 2 women from the local university were chatting, one of them laughing. "Oh, you haven't heard? He's basically dating one of his former students now. It's not official, but people see them at that place by the river. The Tapa's place." "Seriously?" the other said. "Isn't he, like, old? 45? That's not old. And she's into it. You should see the way she looks at him. Like he invented oxygen." I set my wine down and walked outside. Nina followed. I didn't explain. She didn't ask. She handed me her car keys. "Let's drive past the river," she said. We parked across the street from the restaurant. Matt was at a corner table, leaning forward, smiling. Mallory was there. Hair curled. A little black dress. Laughing with her whole face. I stayed in the car. 10 minutes later, they stood up. He held her coat for her. She kissed his cheek. Then they walked to the parking lot. His hand slid to the small of her back. Nina spoke first. You still want proof? It started with a Google search, University Faculty-Student Relationship Policy Anonymous Report. I read the guidelines twice. Then again. His university had a zero-tolerance policy for relationships between faculty and current students, even if consensual. Mallory had only recently dropped his class. I created a new email account, completely anonymous. I used a VPN, wiped metadata. I made damn sure nothing could be traced back to me. Then I wrote the email, short and surgical. I am a concerned individual with direct knowledge of an inappropriate relationship between Professor Matthew Hayward and a former student, Mallory Jensen. I am attaching a voice recording and documentation of their ongoing relationship, including interactions that took place during her enrollment. This appears to be a violation of your faculty ethics policy. Please investigate accordingly. I attached the evidence. I hit send. And then I just sat there, watching the screen like it might burst into flames. But it didn't. It stayed perfectly calm. Silent. Matt had no idea. The next day, he kissed my cheek before leaving for work. I kissed him back. I packed his lunch. I watched him walk to his car like he was still in control of his life. He was whistling. 2 days later, I created another email. Another alias. This time for the student-run Watchdog newsletter at the university, an unofficial but very popular outlet known for breaking faculty scandals before the administration could bury them. I sent them the same audio file and a few select screenshots, edited for privacy. Enough to raise eyebrows, but not enough to make me look like a vengeful wife. I was just an anonymous insider, concerned about a professor abusing his authority. They responded within 2 hours. Whoa. This is big. We're looking into it. Thanks for trusting us. The next morning, it was out. The article was titled, Ethics Professor Accused of Inappropriate Relationship with Former Student. I sat in our kitchen, drinking my coffee, scrolling through the comments. Matt was still in the shower. The house smelled like shaving cream and betrayal. By the time he came downstairs, dressed in a crisp shirt and navy blazer, I had cleared the article from the tab. He kissed the top of my head. Be back late, he said. Faculty review thing. Emicham, I answered, smiling over the rim of my mug. Good luck. He left without a clue. That afternoon, Nina called me, breathless. Did you see it? I didn't need to ask what. I saw. You think he knows it was you? Not a chance. That night, Matt barely touched his dinner. He checked his phone every 5 minutes. When I asked if something was wrong, he shook his head too quickly. No, he said. Just campus gossip. One of the lit professors got called out for thing. You know how students are. I tilted my head. What kind of thing? Nothing serious. Just a rumor. He didn't meet my eyes. The university moved fast. 2 days after the story broke, Matt received an email with the subject line, Request for Meeting, Faculty Conduct Inquiry. I saw it on his laptop screen as he sat across the kitchen table, hunched over with that same pinched expression he wore when trying to hide a hangover. Everything okay? I asked. He jumped like I'd tapped him with a live wire. Yeah, he said, too quickly. Just some departmental thing. Probably nothing. Sure, Matt. Just a casual meeting with the Office of Academic Integrity. By that evening, he was pacing the bedroom, muttering under his breath. I could hear him on the phone with someone, probably Mallory. You said you deleted everything. I don't know where it's coming from. No, I didn't tell anyone. No, of course I didn't tell my wife. The next step came through the student paper's Instagram stories. Someone had anonymously submitted a photo, Matt and Mallory sitting together at a candlelit table at the Tapas restaurant by the river. The same one I'd seen them at from the car. The same one where she'd kissed his cheek like he was her personal hero. The caption read, "Heard they call this place the Ethics Violation Special." Matt saw the photo an hour later. I knew because he came storming down the stairs, face red, holding his phone like it had personally betrayed him. "What the hell is this?" he barked, shoving the screen in my direction. I blinked at it. "That's you and Mallory, right?" He didn't speak, just stared at me like he was trying to read a foreign language. "Someone's obviously following me," he said finally, breathing hard. "Why would someone follow you?" I asked, feigning concern. "Do they think you're doing something wrong?" He opened his mouth, then shut it. It was the first time I'd seen him speechless in months. The next day, the university placed him on administrative leave pending investigation. They sent a formal notice by email, copied to the department chair and faculty list. The words ethics violation were now permanently attached to his name. He came home early, slamming the door behind him. I was in the kitchen, slicing cucumbers. "They're suspending me," he said, throwing his bag onto the floor. I looked up. "What? Why?" He glared at me, eyes narrow. "You know why." I tilted my head. "Do I?" His jaw twitched. "They're claiming the relationship violates policy, even though Mallory dropped my class. But it started when she was still enrolled, didn't it?" He flinched. "I mean," I continued casually, "based on what she said in that voice message, sounds like it had been going on for a while." He froze. "What voice message?" I didn't answer. Just wiped my hands on a towel and left the kitchen. That night, he barely ate. The next morning, I heard him leave a voicemail for Mallory. His voice was low, tense. "You need to stop posting. And stop talking. This is serious now." Oh, Mallory was talking, all right. She'd made her Instagram private, but screenshots were already circulating. Students were reposting her old stories, her and Matt's hands clinking wine glasses, blurry selfies in hotel mirrors, cryptic captions like, "My professor." "My person." Every post was another nail. I didn't just want Matt fired. I wanted him exposed. Not just to the faculty board, but to the entire campus. The friends who respected him. The colleagues who called him brilliant. The students who thought he was some enlightened, feminist academic. I wanted them to know exactly who he was. So I made sure the full version of the voice message, Mallory whispering how he was the best part of her week, got sent to the admin office anonymously. Along with a timestamp. While she was still in his class. I also printed a transcript and slipped it, unsigned, into the faculty lounge suggestion box. By the end of the week, I heard from Nina again. "He's radioactive," she said, laughing. "People are avoiding him in the hallway like he has the plague." "Good," I said. "Let him feel what it's like to be unwelcome." The night before his formal hearing, Matt got drunk. Really drunk. He sat on the couch, shirt wrinkled, hair a mess, staring at the blank TV screen like it had betrayed him too. "You believe it, don't you?" he slurred. I sat down across from him. "You think I'm the bad guy?" "I don't have to think anything, Matt. I've seen the receipts." He buried his face in his hands. "I didn't mean for this to happen." "That's the problem," I said softly. "You didn't mean anything. Not to me." He looked up, eyes bloodshot. "I just wanted to feel young again." I stood up. "You wanted to feel young. I want you to feel ruined." Then I went upstairs. And let him sit there, stewing in the silence. It started with a voicemail. "Professor Hayward, this is Dean Patel. We've concluded the preliminary inquiry and need you to attend a formal misconduct hearing next Thursday at 10 a.m. Failure to appear will result in automatic escalation." Matt listened to it twice. Then deleted it like that would erase reality. But the fallout had already started to spread. I watched it unfold quietly, one step removed. The university paper published a follow-up article. This time with named sources. 2 former students came forward anonymously, describing overly friendly attention from Matt in past semesters. Nothing that had gone too far, but enough to feel off. One of them said, "I never trusted the way he looked at Mallory." Matt's faculty profile disappeared from the university website. He still hadn't connected it to me. That was the best part. He thought he was being witch-hunted by some Gen Z morality police. That this was just bad luck, a misunderstood romance. He ranted about cancel culture like it was some invisible storm that just happened to pick him. He had no idea I was the storm. At night, he barely slept. He paced. He drank. He started locking the office door even when he wasn't in it. One evening, I found him watching a YouTube video titled, "How to Survive a Career Scandal." He didn't notice me standing in the doorway. He looked so small. So weak. It almost made me feel sorry for him. But then I remembered Mallory's voice in that message. I remembered the way he'd lied to my face, called her a confused student. And the pity vanished. Nina came over the next day. We sat on the back patio with wine and watched the birds fight over stale bread. "You still planning the last move?" she asked. I nodded. "You sure you want to go that far?" I looked at her. "I want him to lose what I lost." She didn't ask what that meant. She knew. I'd lost my dignity. My trust. My sense of reality. Now it was his turn. The final move came on a Thursday. Matt left early for a supposed legal consultation. He still had some fantasy about appealing the university's decision, maybe threatening to sue if they didn't clear this up. He believed his charm could still carry him through. I waited until he was gone. Then I went into his office. I knew the password. He'd changed it a few times, but old habits die hard. He always used variations of his favorite band's albums. His email was open. So was a folder marked Personal Legal. Inside, his response draft to the university's inquiry. He was trying to frame the relationship as mutual and after the semester. I smiled. He still thought this was about romance. I attached one last piece of evidence, a dated PDF version of Mallory's spring syllabus with her name circled on the class roster. And the timestamp from their first hotel receipt, dated mid-March, 2 weeks before she dropped the class. Then I forwarded it anonymously to the Title IX office, with a simple message. The attached document contradicts Professor Hayward's account. Please review with scrutiny. I logged out, cleared history, and closed the laptop. 3 hours later, he came home looking like he'd been punched. "They're reopening the case," he muttered, yanking off his tie. "Someone sent more documents. They think I lied in the draft." "Oh no," I said, trying not to smile. "That sounds serious." He glared at me. "It's like someone's out to get me." "You think it's Mallory?" He hesitated. Then nodded. "She must have turned on me." I shrugged. "She is young. Maybe she regrets it." His eyes narrowed. "You're being awfully calm about all this." I tilted my head. "I guess I just trust that the truth always comes out eventually." It was a Tuesday when Matt's name started trending. Not globally. Just on a local academic subreddit, but still. That's how fast reputations implode these days. The thread was titled, "Guess which ethics professor got caught with his student?" Grimacing face. I didn't post it. I didn't have to. Students did the heavy lifting: screenshots, class rosters, blurry photos of him and Mallory near campus. Someone even dug up his Rate My Professor's profile, where an old review suddenly got a lot more attention. Creepy. Tries to be charming but gives off weird power trip vibes. Avoid. It had been posted 2 years ago. No one noticed it then. Everyone noticed it now. Matt tried to control the fire. He emailed the department. Tried to hold a Zoom meeting. Sent a long-winded, self-pitying message to the faculty list titled, "Setting the Record Straight." These rumors have been deeply hurtful. I categorically deny any impropriety while Mallory was my student. Our relationship was private, consensual, and began only after she transferred sections. He even added a quote from an unnamed colleague, saying he was a valued member of the academic community. It was pathetic. The department chair responded an hour later with 3 sentences. "Thank you for your message. The university's inquiry is ongoing. We ask that all involved parties refrain from public commentary until it concludes." Translation: Shut up and pray. Mallory, to her credit, vanished. Her Instagram went dark. Someone said she dropped out of her grad program and moved home. I didn't rejoice in that part. She was young. Foolish, yes. But she didn't deserve to have her life scorched by Matt's ego. He used her. Then threw her into the fire with him. And now they were both burning. He still hadn't figured out I was the one holding the match. That Friday, he hit rock bottom. I came home from the grocery store and found him on the kitchen floor, surrounded by empty wine bottles and his open laptop. "I'm finished," he mumbled. "You spilled the Merlot," I said, stepping around the mess. "I got an email." I raised an eyebrow. "They're recommending termination," he said flatly. "Not just leave. Full termination. No severance. No reference letter." He looked up at me, eyes dull. 18 years. Gone. I sat across from him. "That's rough." He blinked. "You don't seem surprised." "I'm not." He looked at me. Really looked. You've been so calm through all of this." I smiled. He stared. And something flickered behind his eyes. A slow, dawning horror. "Was it you?" I didn't answer. His voice sharpened. "You sent the voice message. You leaked the receipts. You, Jesus Christ, Grace. You cheated," I said calmly. "You lied to me. To everyone. I didn't deserve this." "No?" I asked. "You didn't deserve what?" "Accountability. Consequences. You slept with a student and thought you'd come out the other side respected. I thought we were done. You never said that. You just stopped showing up. You stopped talking to me. You stopped being in the marriage. But you didn't end it." His hands shook. "You ruined my life." "No," I said. "You did. I just made sure everyone saw it." He sat there, speechless. I stood up. "You should start looking for a lawyer," I said. "Because I haven't filed for divorce yet. But I will." 3 weeks after Matt's termination, the university made it official with a one-line press statement. Effective immediately, Professor Matthew Hayward is no longer affiliated with our institution. No thank you for his service. No soft exit. Just a clean surgical cut. By then, he was already out of the house. He'd rented a depressing little studio across town, the kind that smelled like old carpet and defeat. I'd boxed up his things, his books, his ties, his vintage records, and left them on the porch. He picked them up while I was at work. No note. No goodbye. He knew better than to ask for sympathy. Because after everything, the emails, the meetings, the implosion, he still hadn't apologized. Not once. Not for the cheating. Not for the lying. That was his legacy, cowardice. The divorce was next. I hired a lawyer Nina recommended, a former shark of a family court judge turned divorce attorney. Her name was Mara and she didn't smile once during our first meeting. She just listened, took notes, and said, "You'll get the house. And the pension. And I'm going to make sure he pays alimony until he dies or disappears." Matt tried to fight it, of course. Claimed he was financially devastated. That I was out for blood. That Mallory had ruined him. But Mara was merciless. She presented the affair. The termination. The ethical violations. The whole implosion, gift wrapped in court-ready language. "He's not a victim," she told the mediator. "He's a man who detonated his own life and hoped his wife wouldn't notice." I didn't have to speak much. The evidence spoke louder than I ever could. 3 months later, it was over. I got the house. I got half his retirement. He got a payment schedule and a legal gag order not to speak about me or the case publicly. It wasn't revenge anymore. It was justice. And I was free. The first thing I did after the papers were signed was change my last name back to my maiden name, Grace Lowell. It felt like unshrinking, like pulling the pins out of who I used to be. Then I booked a flight to Italy. Just me. A solo trip. 2 weeks. Wine, art, silence. At the airport, while waiting to board, I got a text from an unknown number. "I hope you're happy. You destroyed everything." I stared at the screen for a second. Then I typed. "No, Matt. I revealed everything. You destroyed it yourself. Blocked. Deleted. Gone."